could be us.
Radio. Today we have a really special guest. It's David Ludlow. He is the compliance officer at the Houston. I also know him. He's also the alumni coordinator, and I know him because he used to be the alumni steering committee president when I was on the steering committee with him. He's fantastic. He has an excellent story, and on top of that, he has been in recovery. He is on point. He chairs the alumni meetings on Fridays. He's also doing open Zoom meetings to anyone in recovery who needs to have a meeting. You guys can come join on. We posted it on our site. And we also have Nicky D.
Oh, yeah.
James from the Sober Living Houston.
Yes, sir.
The general manager. And with that, would you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, what's up? I'm James Bates, General Manager, Sober Living Houston, Take Action Recovery. Glad to be here with y'all.
I am Nicky Dees, a.k.a. Nick Darrow, and I am a recovery coach for the Houston Recovery Center. I work specifically in the sobering center, part of the PIT team, man. So I get pricks like me off the streets.
Yes.
In the trenches, man.
Right in that I love it. Woo!
And with that, David, we'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, hi, guys. Hey, thank you for inviting me to come do this. This is I've been watching the last few of the episodes and just kind of really getting my mind geared up to come do this, and just really want to say thanks for the invite and certainly the opportunity to be on the platform. But hi, I'm Dave Ludlow. I'm the Quality Assurance Coordinator and Alumni Coordinator for the Right Step here in Houston, a Promises Behavioral Health Treatment Center. My story is probably most like anybody's. I started drinking and using drugs because it was fun, and then it
was awesome for a while.
It was great until it didn't work anymore. But I'll backtrack a little bit, just a little bit of my history. But grew up in West Houston, upper middle class. Parents were together. I mean, I had everything I could possibly want and need, but it wasn't ever enough. I always had this kind of just emptiness inside me that I really could never really identify or figure out what it was. I didn't have the tools to be able to do that. But I grew up playing tennis. I was a state ranked, nationally ranked junior tennis player growing up. That was my pathway into life. So I thought. And then the beginning of my senior year, I tore my hamstring. And that pretty much, ended tennis for me.
What's the hamstring? I'm not familiar with that. Is that okay?
The back of your thigh.
Right.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah, debilitating. I mean, I was on crutches for 8 months.
Damn.
Yeah. No pressure on my leg for about 4 months. Yeah. Tough.
Definitely.
And so I traveled as a kid from probably age 14 up until 17. I traveled 30 weekends a year. I was away a lot. And so I had friends in all kinds of different places, but not so much like a tight-knit community in the community I was in.
Right.
And so when I was not traveling anymore, I started going to the parties and this, that, and the other. And I started drinking for the first time, really. And then shortly thereafter, the cool set of kids introduced this substance to me, cocaine, and I loved it.
You like to party?
Yeah, and that was outside of alcohol, but that was really the first drug I ever did. And to me, I didn't need to do anything else. That was it. And, that went on, and shortly thereafter, it transferred into, because I wanted to be accepted by people, and I thought people would like me if I was selling cocaine.
Absolutely.
There was no reason for me to ever get into that, but that's what I did, and not just a little bit, because as my story says, I don't do anything in moderation. It's either go big or go home. Yeah. It's kind of been my thing, or until I go to jail, which happens. That was usually the precursor of why things usually ended, and not usually ended on a positive matter.
State of Texas.
Hey, selling coke in high school, it definitely boosts your popularity really fast.
Yeah.
You might not make no profit and still be a badass.
You got to realize, and this is in 1989 too. So
I'm peak of the epidemic.
Dating myself a little bit, but yeah. So
Levi's.
It was crazy. And then, I graduated high school, and then at that point, I I was moving around, and I wasn't having any offers to go play tennis anywhere, Division I schools. But we had a family friend that was in Ohio at a smaller Division II school right outside of Cleveland, and we convinced them to give me a scholarship to come play tennis, and I wasn't walking so much as even playing tennis at that point, right? So in 1989, the fall of '89, I moved to Cleveland, Ohio, and that was a shock amongst shockers. From a culture standpoint, just the times, weather. It was like walking into the Twilight Zone, and I was kind of really just a fish out of water, and. I got through that fall quarter, and we were on quarters, not semesters, so 10 weeks on were our things. And so I come back over at Christmas break, and I actually started hitting balls again. And I remember stepping off the plane January 4th, 5th, whatever it was, when we came back, and there's like 2.5 feet of snow on the ground. And I'm like... I don't know about this. So, as I woke up that Monday morning to go to class, and of course I'm on South Campus, all my classes are up on North Campus, and that's about a half-mile walk, and it was, 12 degrees and 2.5 feet of snow.
The irony is the snow, right? The cocaine and the snow.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck this. But right across from my dorm was the athletic training facility. And the Cleveland Browns training facility was on our campus. So we had a really nice state-of-the-art training facility, our tennis courts and everything, indoor courts and all that. So I just trained all day. And so, from my academic standpoint, like fall and spring quarter, I had a 4.0. Winter quarter, I had a 0.8.
That's right, get your feet wet.
That's a massive decline.
Yeah, so, I missed 9 of the 10 weeks of school. But I was in the gym every day training. So long story short, we
Hey, gotta have your priorities.
So we start tennis season, and I went undefeated. I went 18-0. I won the Ohio Athletic Conference as a freshman, and actually like the day before my finals match to win the conference, that night before was my birthday, and so. Of course, I didn't get in until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. The bus is supposed to leave at 10, and I'm nowhere to be found because I'm passed out in some room in the dorm, right?
Yeah.
The team is looking for me, the coach is looking for me. They finally get me up, and I'm just a stinking wreck at this point.
Right.
And I almost lost the match. It was brutal. But, I managed to push through that and then realized that I'm not going to stay in Cleveland anymore. So I come back home with really no plan, except the only thing I knew what to do was pick up where I left off, and doing some nefarious activity, right?
Did they let you play with a .08 GPA?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, 2.0 minimum.
I had a 4.0 my first quarter. So I was balancing out well. But anyway,
man. Did you have any nicknames in that time?
And it was Cleveland, so there's
it was Cleveland. But yeah, so we so like that next year and a half, I the tanning salon business was really big back then, and I was running a tanning salon and hitting the clubs every night and doing my thing.
Spray tan?
No, they didn't have spray tan.
They had that back then.
1990. Right? Come on, man. Ultraviolet, good for the skin shit, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Vitamin D.
That's it. Yeah, artificial, but whatever.
Damn
So I'm living this quarter like pretend life, right? And I'm in the clubs every night. I'm doing my thing, and but as I'm doing my thing, just the level of depth that I was getting into with the cocaine was really getting out of control. And November of 1991, I remember it was a Thursday night, and Seinfeld was on. I still remember watching that, and we get a knock on the door, and I'm not. And my name's not on the lease at the apartment I'm at, or this, that, or the other. And so really, no trace of me being at this apartment, and it was two really nice people that knocked on the door and opened the door, and they introduced themselves, and this nice man and lady were with the DEA.
Holy shit!
Man and lady with a come on in. Would you like a cup of tea?
Well, they asked if they could come in, and I said, well, do you need to? And they're like, well, we have this special sheet of paper that'll give us
That'll lock us in.
It's in your best interest to go ahead and open the door before you keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were very polite, and they just kindly invited themselves in and wanted to ask me some questions about some things, and really just shitting in my pants at that point.
Yeah. Were you high? Had you been on a bender?
Probably. I mean,
Okay.
it was a daily. I mean, whatever. It was a daily thing.
Right,
And
right.
so long story short, they asked me if they could search the place, and they didn't search the apartment. They went right to where it was, and there's only one other person that knew where that stuff was.
Yeah.
And
Shit.
so that was not good. And I was looking at like 35 years in prison at that point. I was 20 years old.
Did they have a warrant for that, or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
They're at
so
least nice enough to ask. They didn't really.
yeah,
need your
no,
consent.
yeah, they didn't need my consent. They were coming in anyway. They were just polite about
They
it.
don't pay for new door hinges.
Yeah,
Since it
and
wasn't a no knock.
yeah. So long story short, there were a lot of other things involved with that case. There was a lot of moving pieces and this, that, and the other. But I was in serious trouble. So we go to court, do the thing. I ended up, just by sheer luck, my dad's business partner at the time, his neighbor was a big criminal defense attorney here in town, who just so happened to be the number 2 guy at the time in the Special Crimes Division prosecutor office, right? Used to be. So he knew the prosecutor really well. I mean, this is just how things align, like sheer luck stuff.
Yeah, chess game.
Yeah, chess game. And because I had some means, and I had the financial ability to afford good representation. I ended up getting a deferred case on this. So I got the max deferred that they could throw at me.
What did you do, 10 years deferred?
10 years deferred, yeah. Big fine, big community service, this, that, and the other. And, you think that would have probably scared me straight, right? No, because I couldn't stay sober. And I got my probation revoked like 3 times in 8 months. And my probation officer really just was out to get me, but in my mind. Because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, that I was ordered to do by the courts, or go to prison.
Having nosebleeds.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, just everything. I just couldn't follow instructions. Bottom line,
What the hell are instructions?
right? And so we had another family friend at that time was the dean of a school in Ohio, a university there, and we petitioned the courts to let me go to St. Louis. And fall of '93, I moved to St. Louis, and changed my environment, changed my people, places, and things, this, that, and the other, and thinking that would be the answer to all my problems, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was for a little while, and because I was away from the real culprit of my problem, but I was still drinking. But I went to school. I mean, I graduated with honors from with a marketing degree, enrolled in the master's program, and then about halfway through that, I got a really good job offer. I had gotten engaged and married. I mean, I thought I was doing everything that I needed to be doing, right? Meanwhile, reporting to the state of Missouri. I mean, hitting all my marks. Things are just like, I'm doing this thing right, finally, right?
Right.
And so I get this great job out of college, and things are just really going well. And actually, really, right before I graduated college is when it was better than even probably graduating college or that. But I remember getting a letter from the state of Texas that I'd been early dismissed.
You weren't on federal probation?
No.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, DEA?
Yeah, that I was early discharged because the state of Missouri didn't know what to do with me because I was hitting every mark, this, that, and the other, and it's like all my stuff's done.
Right.
So I was like, well, okay. I mean, I graduated college. I mean, I was doing all this right stuff right.
It'd be more of a pain in the ass if they just had to keep. Come on, man.
What are we doing with this guy?
Right.
You know, so the state of Texas released me, and
You're lucky. I had to do 9 years and 7 months.
Yeah, and so we, I got married, had this great job. My wife at the time, we were like this little power couple. She had a great job, this, that, and the other, and she decided one day that she wanted to just mix up what she was doing completely, and I wasn't going to stop doing what I was doing. Basically, I was stubborn and hard-headed, and very, very selfish and very self-centered, and not recognizing what this partnership that I had signed up to play my part. Right. I was an abject failure at it.
Right.
And
one-track mind.
So I went out of town I was going to be gone all week, and I left on Sunday, and I come home Thursday, and my house was empty.
Ooh, she left you?
Empty, like move in ready for somebody else. like not a fork, not a hanger,
No yoga mat.
nothing in the house. Nothing that even belonged to me was in the house. So that kind of set me off into like this first like big step off the rail, right? And
Rail.
I immediately found what made me comfortable again, and then that's when it started. But again, there wasn't a lot of consequences for me at the time because I had a great job. So there was financially there was never a problem. It's just I was just partying again, right. And that went on for a good 4 or 5, 6 years, and I was in mortgage banking and just really kind of went up the ladder with that. Was really doing well, and then I got into real estate and started flipping property, and I my dad and I ended up having like 175 rental units up in St. Louis. I flipped like 26 properties. I mean, things were going really, really well, except for the fact that I was drinking a lot more and I was getting high a lot more than I ever had.
Yep.
Because I had zero structure in my life. I mean, I was just, every 6-7 weeks I'd get, a big chunk of change, and there was zero accountability really in my life. Although I should have been accountable to all my day-to-day business operations and all the things that I was actually doing to have the success, I completely ignored because of my substance abuse disorder.
Yeah.
And so long story short, I lost all that. Lost everything I'd worked for 8 years. And in 2004, I packed up just what I could fit into a single van of stuff, and I had to move back to Texas. And I was broke. I had no sense of purpose. Life just sucked. I mean, I pissed away hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in my business and with my actions, and I was lost. So I come back home. I'm got to live with mom and dad for a little while, and things started. I got a decent job again, this, that, and the other. But immediately after coming back, I found what I knew was going to make me feel better, and that was just getting high. And
instant gratification.
It
doesn't provide any long-term relief.
No, not at all. And then about 9 months into that, Halloween night 2005, my dad died, and that's when I jumped off the cliff. And then for the next several years, I destroyed everything that came in my path. Destroyed the relationship with my mother, rest of my family. I got in trouble another 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 times. All felony arrests. I mean, things were not going well. Certainly my life was completely unmanageable at that point.
Right.
But y'all have the problem, not me.
Oh, of course. Assigning blame to those who...
Right. See, if things just go my way, I wouldn't be in this situation.
Right.
Self will run a riot.
But it doesn't work that way.
Reliving the past successes, right? The past assets. Reliving that, saying, I can get that back.
Well, it's the entitlement.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was entitled, So I just continued to because I thought I deserved certain things in life that the only way for me to do that, because I wasn't the most employable person at the time, because I couldn't get through a background check to save my life, and I wasn't going to humble myself and just take a job to pay my bills, so I had to resort to what I knew to be able to make money, and that's just involve myself in more nefarious crap. Right. And the more I do, then I'd get in trouble. And it was just this cycle of insanity, right? Keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Right.
Newsflash, it doesn't fucking work.
Did you ever get to the point when you were out there? Did you ever get to the point where you knew exactly that there were going to be consequences, and that you were so hopeless that you didn't?
I didn't care.
It was right. There was no longer that threadbare idea that, hey, you know what? I'm going to handle myself differently this time. I'm going to get away with it. Did it get to the point where you just
see, the whole thing was
shit?
Well, there was some case of the fuck it's, like fuck it, I don't give a shit. But it's, you know what? I'm smarter than all y'all.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
the person we lie to is ourselves.
And it's going to be different this time. See, I was so delusional, and I kept filling my. I believed my own bullshit. That was my worst downfall.
Right.
Pride.
But there's times, we know this is going to end badly.
Oh yeah.
But powerless to stop.
But I couldn't stop because I had to feed this addiction,
Exactly.
and I had to feed this acceptance thing, this demon that was really at the core of my problem. It was my thinking.
Right.
I had a thinking problem.
Have you ever gone to get high again, and you got your mind going, what the fuck are you doing? And you're in autopilot.
Yeah.
And you got your mind screaming at you. What are you doing, dude?
Yeah, it's crazy like that. So so that went on again. When I jumped off that cliff, just picking up that momentum, and just bad shit kept happening. Just one thing after another, and then I hit. Just when I thought I was at a low, man, no, let me jump off that cliff a little bit more, and it just kept picking up momentum, and then so finally, and kind of the end of 2016, early 2017, my mom came to me and just basically said, "Look, I'm sick of your shit." It's just my mom and I left, and she was like, "I've gone to our family attorney. You've been written out of the will. You show up at this house again, I'm going to call the police. Don't want anything to do with you." Little did I know that my mom had been going to Al-Anon for 7 months.
Al-Anon.
The
death of it.
And she had finally gotten the courage to stand up to me.
Fucked off the safety net.
And to call my bluff, right?
Right.
And basically said, "You need to go get help." And I'm like, fuck off. Again, to put it, as nicely as I could.
Al-Anon always has to come in and fuck shit
Fuck off, right?
Because I'm going to grace you with my presence.
Because I'm still convinced that if things would just go my way, I was willing to concede I had some issues, but a problem?
Oh yeah.
No.
Come on, man.
Y'all are fucking crazy,
Situational.
Right? Yeah. So I manipulated my way out of that for a couple weeks, and then finally my girlfriend was like, "Look, she ain't letting go of this," and really she's like, I don't know if I want to be with somebody that has this kind of relationship with their family, put it all kind of in my face, right? So she's like, just go to treatment. It's 30 days. So I begrudgingly packed my bag April 25th. I go to my mother's house that morning, April 26th, to pick up a cashier's check because I had no insurance at this point. I'm 45 years old, no insurance, and my mom's last-ditch effort to try to invest in this thing called treatment or recovery to try to save my life, to try to save her son's life.
Yeah.
And probably the single greatest gift of kindness that has ever been bestowed on me. For sure. And, and my last words to my mother as I grabbed that check and I was walking to my car was, "Fuck you for making me go to treatment." That's how delusional and sick I was.
Yep.
So I entered the right step at 118 pounds, face sunken in, eyes black. I was not going to make it much longer.
Septum, no septum.
Whatever. I'm not sure I wasn't going to make it much longer. I'll just leave it at that.
Right.
And just completely delusional about where my life was, what my life had been, and certainly where it was probably headed.
Yes. Of course.
Most importantly. So, I get to treatment and the poor folks there, I just was just ruthless to the first couple days. And I remember going to, we went off-site meetings at that time. And we went to Post Oak Club on a Sunday night, and it was a speaker meeting, and I didn't know what any of that crap meant. Oh, but let me fast forward. So my first night in treatment, we go to Spring Branch Memorial Club. This is my first exposure to anything AA related, right?
Right.
But I had a lot of preconceived notions about what AA was. It was a cult. It's for quitters. Not for me, right?
It's for quitters.
Right, quitters. weak fucking people. Right. That was my mindset, right?
Yeah.
Because I knew nothing about it.
Right.
And I remember walking to Spring Branch Memorial Club, and the only seat available was on the very front row, where I did not want to be. And just off my right side was the 12 steps, and I remember looking at this going, what a load of shit. And 12 traditions, bunch of load of crap too. And then right in front of me was this kind of 11 by 18 thing called the Promises.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember reading that over and over in that meeting, because I wasn't paying attention to anything except this thing was right in front of me. And I'm like, how did I end up here? Mm-hmm. This is a load of shit. You people are brainwashed. I'm not anything like you people. Again, very delusional at where I was at this stage of my life.
Right.
So that goes on for a couple more days, and then Sunday night we go to Post Oak, and a young lady was speaking, and again, I would walk into a room and pick it apart. Not like you, not like you, not like her, not like her, not like you. I mean, that was it. And one of the RAs told me that night, said, when you go to the meeting tonight, listen for the similarities, don't look for the difference.
Yes.
And I walked into Post Oak, and there was a spot in the back corner, literally on the back row, in the back corner of the room, and that was my seat, because that's where I belonged, because I wasn't one of you people, right? And about 10 minutes into this young lady speaking, and I could have picked this whole thing apart, but about 10 minutes into her speaking, I found myself on the edge of my seat, hanging on every single word this young lady was speaking, because it resonated with me. And that's when I first started having this aha moment that maybe there might be something to this.
Yeah, it might be a chance.
Might be a chance. It's when the light bulb started flickering. I wouldn't say it was on at that point, but started flickering. And so I got back to the treatment center that night, and I started asking some questions. The right questions.
The right questions.
The right questions.
Key.
Like, okay, all right, you got my attention now. What's going on? And it was suggested that I read the doctor's opinion in the first 3 chapters of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm like, well, what's that? And he's like, the big book we gave you when you came into treatment on Thursday? I don't have a big book. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. He's like, the little red book. Oh, yeah. That was at the bottom of my suitcase at that point, because I had no intentions of reading or doing anything that was going to be asked of me. I'm doing this for 30 days.
And the spiritual result, or spiritual experience as a result of working 12 steps of recovery.
One time my sponsor told me, I don't give a damn about your feelings. I care about your condition.
That's
and
it.
I was like, boom.
Yeah,
right there.
And so that's where it's at for me. And and he guided me through the steps, and then through working steps, through 4 and 5, and through that process. Once much been announced to me, I realized that I actually had some character defects.
Yeah, just a few.
Some flaws.
Yeah.
Like that things that I didn't think were defects of character. I just thought that was my personality.
Right.
That was me. Well, I was a defective character, is what I was. And
Nice. That's
so
a badass now.
So I started working through this stuff, right? And once I was aware of things, I was able to start working on some of the things that were wrong with me. And since I had some self-awareness now, I could start working through these things. And as I did, things just started to get better.
Right.
We got through amends. Was that easy? No. Some of them actually sucked.
Yes.
But the book also tells me that's not what it's designed to be that way.
Right.
Is that if I was going to initiate an apology to somebody, I'm sorry for my actions. I had to back that up with some action to make sure those things never happened again.
Right.
Otherwise, I was just manipulating the process.
Right.
And if I was going to live an honest program, if I'm saying I'm sorry, I have to back that up with legitimate action. Yeah, but
Well, so I've gotten to know you professionally and personally. How did you get into this field? Like, how did you go
Sure.
from going
Yeah.
like being a resident
Yeah.
to the right step and to actually working there and being in upper senior management?
Sure.
there?
So I got through the steps, and I was working another job, this, that, and the other, but I was still.
What field were you? What were you doing?
My buddy had a startup company, and I helped him launch that.
Okay.
It was a automotive car part, specialty part. And anyways, and then he ended up selling the company, and I ended up losing that job, and that kind of sent me into kind of a tailspin, and I wasn't sure really what I wanted to do. But in the meantime, early on, I was super active in the alumni program, and I went back every Monday to show up for the newcomer because that's what it was asked of me to do. Again, I just followed the instruction book. I took me and my thinking out of the equation,
Right.
because I was still trying to repair my thinking.
Right.
Oh, yes.
And so I just did what I was told. I showed up every week. I was able to be of service, and then after about 6 months, because I was knowledgeable of the Big Book, I was going back every Saturday and leading Big Book studies back at the facility. So I had a presence at the facility, right? Because I was there a lot, and just through the end of 2019, we have a new executive. We had a new executive director when we were still in Montrose, and really just cultivated a relationship with her because I was at the facility all the time.
Right.
And then when we moved to the new facility, this position became available, as the compliance officer. And and I was working as a behavioral health tech at another treatment center. So I mean, I was doing my 40 hours a week there, and then probably another at least 15 hours a week just as a volunteer at the right staff.
Go get her.
And
Loving it.
and so basically, long story short, she saw something in me that I was not seeing in myself. That I had the capacity to be able to step in and do this role effectively for our company, and I got the job, and then we had a slot also available for the alumni coordinator position, and a lot of that work I'd already kind of been doing.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
He's
just
really good at it.
It's just thank you. It's just amazing that I get paid to do
Well,
that.
yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of. I definitely admire you. I mean, you're constantly involved. I mean, I get messages daily. Check this meeting out. Come to when you're still having meetings. Come out on Fridays. Now it's check out the Zoom meetings. So I mean, you're very heavily involved.
Yeah,
in this community.
and because it saved my life.
Yeah.
And
We have a duty to give back.
And that's step 12, right? And so, I'm blessed that I get to work in recovery today, and hopefully, one or more days, we can reach somebody and we can save a life, because that's what it's about for me at the end of the day. I know we're not going to save everybody, but if we can save one, that's fulfilling.
Right.
But I just get to share my message, in my experience, strength, and hope. That for somebody younger or older, whatever the case may be, is that you don't have to feel this way anymore.
Right.
And if you don't want all these yets, if they haven't happened to you yet, like
You don't have to have them. Yeah.
you don't have. Let me carry that burden for
Yeah.
you. And let me weigh that sacrifice. And so I just show up every day and I just do what's asked of me. I'm essentially getting to learn how to run a medical facility, in the compliance role that I have.
Well, how do you do it? I mean, because we're both very visible people.
Yeah.
Where we work at. How do you deal when you have a bad day? Because we have to, put on the appearance that we have our shit together all the time.
Oh, yeah.
We
Great
can't
question.
fall apart in public.
I tell folks this all the time. I don't have bad days.
Right.
I have bad moments in time.
Yes.
I might have a bad couple minutes. Prime example, Friday morning, and I am not the most tech savvy person in the world. And so when I was trying to set up all the Zoom capabilities in all the different rooms, when you go into one space and you try to hook the computer up and you do all this stuff and it works, and you go to the next one like, okay, I got this, and then
not one of the rooms is all configured exactly the same. I was ready to punch somebody. There was no, or kick a hole in the wall, you know? I mean, but I knew I could just get back. I had to pause when agitated.
Right.
I had to take a step back. I had to take a deep breath that it's going to work itself out. It did. It's never as bad as the scenario I can play in my head. Never is. So today I have some healthy fears, but I don't live in fear.
Right.
I understand what I can control, and that's how I react. I don't make decisions based on emotion. And I just live that way because it's a healthier way for Dave to live. That may not work for everybody.
Absolutely.
Well, how does it
works
make
for
you
Dave.
feel? I mean, the destruction that you caused, like now you're able to give back. I mean, that's
it's so rewarding again because when we start thinking about like having purpose in life, right? I was saved for a reason,
right?
I mean, they're and I just took myself out of the equation and realized I'm not smart enough or qualified enough to even question it.
Right.
I just know that this power that's greater than me saved me and has something better planned for me to do. And my only action today is to do what I can today. It's that simple.
Yep.
And that's just how I live my life.
Hey guys, you got a few shout outs from Crystal Moore. Hey guys, James Bates, David Ludlow, and Omar.
Hey,
Hi,
Crystal.
What's up, Crystal?
All right.
I don't know.
Crystal works at the right step.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Crystal.
We
I'm Mickey.
were in treatment together, so
Awesome.
She also does the Spirit of Houston conference.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I do know her.
Yes.
Then. I don't know.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, no, she's great.
Well,
She's
hell
great.
yeah. So your experience, strength, and hope. So all that experience that you have, one thing that I can relate when you were saying, we were talking about what you were saying, the destruction and all that stuff, right, and having that purpose and those moments, right, those light moments where I was talking about this last night about when you're helping the next man, and the fact that you said I'm getting paid to do what I love to do.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not work.
I mean, it puts us in what like the 5th percentile in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
There are moments when I used to go to work and I used to be the only prick, I guarantee you, on the road that was going, yes.
Yeah.
well, what a blessing it is, man, to have newcomers just come right to your feet. Man.
Oh my
Just-
God.
You don't have to go out and search.
They
for it.
come to you.
And that's the beauty for me today is that when we talk about relatability and having connection, and I think that's just where the strength of our alumni program has been is that me as an addict and alcoholic, I wasn't going to listen to somebody that hadn't already done this thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Is
Absolutely.
that the solution that I had to follow wasn't going to come with somebody with a bunch of alphabet letters after their name. If they hadn't walked this deal or lived this life of misery or been at the gates of hell, I wasn't interested in what you had to say. I'm sorry. Not to say that what you're saying isn't valid, but I can't relate to you.
You can't go to school for empathy.
Yes.
Right. And so,
To switch gears on something,
Yeah.
so going from personal, you work at the Right Step, obviously. With the shutdown going on,
Yeah.
how is your facility dealing with that?
So we've certainly tightened up our admission protocols. There's
Absolutely.
of course more questions. We have some April 1st. We had some new guidelines come down from the CDC and we have incredible direction from our corporate office. From our CEO and our COO are just amazing people to work for. The guidance and support that we get from a corporate level is just amazing. But in the facility, we're still taking clients because there's still people sick
Yep.
and that want treatment.
The addiction doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't stop.
It doesn't.
We're still open and actively taking folks, and we have a little stricter protocol with how we're dealing. Immediate intakes and things like that. But the nuts and bolts of it, man. And if you're struggling and you want some help, reach out.
Yeah.
Whether it's to the Right Step or wherever, it doesn't matter. If you're struggling, reach out and get help. The madness, the sickness, all that, it can stop today.
Yes.
It can stop today.
Today.
You just don't have to pick up or use today. And if you follow the path of some people that have walked through this thing and walked out and away from the gates of hell into this newfound freedom, life's going to be beautiful. Is it going to be easy?
It's important
No.
to stick to the people who are staying sober
Yes.
and being successful,
Yeah.
and not hang around the people that are fucking off, because
Yeah.
you're going to crash and burn.
And isn't it crazy? It's funny how when you get free from this, and then you can look around and you can see, like, I'll go to like some meetings, and some of the guys that I've sponsored that I've been around, I can see the illness manifest in different ways.
Absolutely.
Other than it doesn't always have to be about consuming the drugs and alcohol.
No.
Yeah. You could be a dry drunk.
But I see it now, right?
Yeah.
And I want to call people out on it, but I'm like, wait a minute, that's not your place.
Yeah.
But you can.
And you see, like, when you
Awareness.
see people that are having, they're struggling, and you're free from that obsession to drink and drug. And it's hard to tell, like, dude, if you just give it some time and work the steps, like, it's going to be removed, and it's hard to,
It's frustrating.
Personality
though.
will be overcome.
I can't tell you how frustrating it is too, though, because I heard one guy say, "Man, it's like being out in Antarctica. You're ice fishing, and you got these circle blocks, right? And you see these guys just swimming, and they're trying to stay above water in this ice water, and you've made it out.
Yeah.
And you go to reach your hand down, and one guy goes, "No, I'm good, and you clearly see that he's dying.
And the other side of this
You're not
thing,
good.
too, is that
Right.
there's nothing that I have found in life that has a great reward at the end of it that doesn't require some work.
Yes. If you change
You know?
nothing will change.
Nothing in life is just handed to you.
Right.
You know?
I guess what I'm saying, like, just the frustration that I found, like, especially early in my like my first year in my recovery, because I had that awakening, and I was like, just. Yes, I'm gonna help. I want to help everybody.
Yeah.
I wanted to shake the shit out of some people, right?
Yeah.
And so going back to the ice thing, somebody would finally take my hand. I'd get his naked ass up out of the water,
And they decide
take
to
my
jump
shirt
back in.
off.
Yeah.
And
they decide to jump
I'd even
on.
take my shirt off and pat his naked ass down and say, "Look, bro, you stay right here. Don't you go anywhere. I'm gonna go help homeboy over here." And as soon as I turn around, I look back, and there he is. Whoop!
Yep.
Jumping right back in that water.
Yeah.
I got sober because I wanted a new life. I stay sober because I got one.
Right.
Like David said,
Yeah,
everything sobriety was consequentially the hardest thing I ever did to get recovered, but it was the greatest thing I've ever done at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't regret going to treatment at the right step. I still got the little book that they gave. It's been forever. I still have it in the trunk of my car. I use it when I don't have my actual big book.
You know what's crazy is I got my 90-day chip, and I was all happy about it, right? And I remember going up, getting it, and coming back, and my sponsor was like, "Well, good for you, man." I was like, "Man, I'm proud of this. This is something." He goes, "Well, now every chip that you get after this ain't for your fucking ass.
Yes.
It's for the next man when you go up and get that chip. So forget your little leather case and your little, your little thing, like all fancy and shit. That ain't for you, prick. Fuck out of here with that."
Yeah.
That's what he told me, and it made sense to me at the time, but I felt like an asshole, because of
for
that.
sure.
We had that psychic change, right? When it happens, and my sponsor expected me to have it then. But anyway,
Yes.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was. I will say this about David. When he first became the compliance officer, I was filing some paperwork for the alumni committee. He's like, "Did you file that yet?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, good. I wouldn't be in compliance with myself if I did."
Yeah, no, I will say life in perspective has taken on a whole new meaning. I've always thought of myself as a pretty aware person, but certainly in the scope of what I get to do on a daily basis, has certainly changed, and I hope changed for the better. But I just every day now I just strive to be the best I can be today.
growth.
For somebody who's just trying to sober up, what advice would you give them?
I mean, if you're really struggling, get into treatment.
Immediately.
Get into treatment. Because the thing is not meant to be done alone.
Right.
Because so much of recovery success is based on fellowship and connection.
Yes.
And it's hard to connect with just yourself if your self is the problem.
Right.
So get help, seek others, get in meetings. Most importantly, just get out of your own damn way. And trust and have faith in some folks that have done this thing and are doing this thing the right way. That's really all I can say on that.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Any shout outs? Anybody you want to say hi to, David, while you're live?
I'll say hi to all my alumni quarter team who's working really hard within the Promises Behavior Health. Of course, to my entire staff at the Right Step in Houston, who just continually every day amazes me And of course to my Houston recovery community, the relationships and that I've formed in this thing. Sometimes I question if I deserve this, but I'm just blessed to be a part of it. I'm just trying to do my small thing.
Cool.
So, thank
Thanks.
you.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for being a guest on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
you got it.
David.
Thank
Yes.
you guys.
Yeah.
Best
Also,
of luck.
David, that was great,
everyone,
man.
the alumni meetings are now open to everyone. We posted it on our page. You can join. It's a Zoom meeting. They're Monday through Friday and Sunday morning at 9:30 in the morning. We posted the information on our page. It's open to everyone due to these times. You don't have to be an alumni. If you just need a meeting, they're really good. Come join us.
Okay. All right.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us, guys. We had a little trouble with our internet, but I pulled out the old phone. So we'll have a show coming to you Tuesday, all right? Peace out, freaks. Bye.
Next.